everybody, Susie Q here, and welcome to Q Aquatics and Exotics. And today I'm going to show you how I feed worms to my reptile. How, if you were watching my reptiles, how you feed them. So we're going to start with the worms. First thing I'm going to do is pull out the worms. I'm going to open it up. It's going to have some wood shavings in it. That's okay. Just don't care about that. And I have an empty container. It's an empty container. And take my scoop, scoop up some worms, shake out as much dust as possible, and put them in here. So I did a scoop. Let me show you about how much. But first I want to show you, sometimes worms get stuck in this thing. So you got to make sure they're all out before you remove it, because otherwise you'll have worms in the house. And then Kyle will say, "Is that one of your beetles?" Then you can put the top back on, and then you have worms. So now I'm just going to pick out the big pieces of the wood shavings. And if you don't get them, it's not a big deal. There we go. So I picked them out. Now I'm going to take this calcium powder and just sprinkle just a little bit on. And I'll show you how much a little bit is. Just a little bit. Shake it around. Don't worry about giving them concussions. So they all got a little bit of calcium on there. Now I'm going to go and sprinkle them in a couple tanks. This one up here has a little clasp. And these are my African fat tails. So I just lift it up. You don't even have to remove it. If it gets stuck, it's probably because it's stuck on one of these wires. You just open it a little bit. See this little container here that's got calcium dry food that they don't really eat? You're just going to sprinkle a couple worms in here. I probably do about, there we go, about 10 worms. We're good. They're nocturnal, so they'll get them later, and they'll find them. And then I put this back on. So this part of the clasp is on the, it just keeps everything nice and tight. So that's the African fat tails. They do not get worms. Nobody else in this room is going to get worms. They're not getting, they're getting salad. Cherryhead gets salad. Now these leopard geckos are going to get worms, but I think Colleen's feeding them. It gets worms. The turtles love worms, but that's a treat. In my bedroom, this little guy, hi little guy, he likes worms, but he does not have a calcium dish. So all I do is sprinkle a couple over here. There you go. He's a very good hunter. He will see them moving, attack, and destroy. These guys don't get worms. Well, they do, but not on the day that I'm away is fine. Now in the living room, there's the calcium dish here for those leopard geckos. And there's a calcium dish. Exact same thing. This one's lock actually pulls up like this. I just put it up top because the lock is actually broken. Open it. And then you want to sprinkle a couple worms in their calcium dish. If it misses the dish, don't worry. It's their job to find them. Okay. And then let me show you something when you close this. You make sure the glass is even when you close it. Then this thing could either go on the bottom here or the top. It does not matter either way as long as it can be opened. This one is just a screen lid, so I just lift it. Watch the light doesn't fall. Oh, I sprinkled in too many, but she's my biggest gecko and she will eat them all. Put that back down. This one, she thinks you're going to hand feed her, but all you have to do is put it in her dry food. She will find it. There you go, buddy. See that? See, she still thinks you're going to hand feed her. So if you wanted to pick them up with tweezers and give them to her, she would love that. That's how she eats them. This guy over here, woohoo! You just put it in his dry food. Just like that. See, just a couple. So he got worms, he got worms. And these guys down here, they like to sneak out the back over there. So when you slide this open a little bit, just a little bit, just enough to drop worms in, don't worry, they will find them because they travel underground. There they go. Okay. There they go. See that? Okay, so now I have a couple left. I'm gonna give them to this guy up here, these frogs. Let's see, where is he? I just make sure that these frogs aren't on the glass first. Flip this down. This opens on this side. Some open on this side, some open on the other side. See, there's a latch. Make sure it's down. And then don't put them on the rock in the island because these worms will just drown. See how I'm putting them back there just a little bit? Here we go. They'll find them. And then close it and lock it and then make sure it's locked. And now I got a couple left. I'll give to these frogs. These are the fire-belly toads. I just open this screen and put it up here on the land. See how I just scattered it all over with the calcium? Now this one you want to make sure the lid's tight because they will get out. There you go. So that's it for worms. And since today's Wednesday and I'm feeding them all, and since today's Wednesday and I'm giving them all worms, you don't have to do it Thursday, Friday. You don't have to give them worms until Saturday. That's it. They'll be fine until Saturday. The only ones that are going to want worms probably like every day, it could be a morning or afternoon, are the baby beardeds. They're going to want them probably every day. Did I give them to the baby beardies? No. Let me get some more worms. Let me go over it again. Just to show you. So I come in here, open up this thing. It's not easy to open, but once it unclicks, it's super easy to open, just so you know. So I'm gonna scoop up. I don't like this wood shaving. So while I have it here, I'll just pick out 1 or 2 pieces of wood. I'm gonna put them in here. Now, see how they're all in here? I gotta make sure every hole is empty, otherwise I'll put this down and then a worm will get out, and I don't want any worms out. Okay, no more worms, see that? And put the top on. Sprinkle just a little bit of calcium. So I don't do too much. I sprinkle it in the lid, like that. Put it in there, perfect. Close up the calcium nice and tight so it keeps the humidity out. Give all the worms concussions by stirring them around. Let's go check out the babies. Here's the babies. They're probably really mad at me because they saw me doing worms and forgot about them. See how there's 2 layers? I'm gonna put some of these worms up here in the top layer up here first in his dry food. But then I'm gonna put some down here in the dry food, and then they can both have some. Here you go, Bubby. Here you go. He's got some poopy I gotta clean up. Okay, just to sum up for the worms, in this reptile room, even though I think Colleen is gonna do these 2 leopard geckos, they get 5 to 6 worms in each calcium. See how they still haven't eaten them? That's okay. They get about 10 worms. And that's it. If you want to give the baby turtles worms, you can, but that's just a gift. Oop, let's go in my room. And in my room, the Chinese dragon, he gets some worms. They do not. Then in this room, I just put about 10-15 worms up here in this calcium dish. that calcium dish. This, I have to make sure I slide shut when I'm done and make sure this back is covered because they can stand up on this waterfall and get out. I make sure Bagel gets about 15, 20 because she's pretty big. Clementine got about 15, 20, but she's used to being hand fed, so if you want to feed her on tweezers, you can. Look at her. She thinks I'm gonna feed her, and I just don't have any of those big green worms. These guys, I feed the top one. Make sure you can see that. I feed the top one first, so it distracts him. And I put some down here for Otis. So Milo gets hers, Otis gets his. Oh, buddy. And then over in this tank, just so you know, Sapphire, I already gave a thing of cat food. And then back here, I gave some worms. These guys get flies, they don't get worms. And these frogs got worms. Now, onto the salad. Okay, for salad, I'm sorry I didn't have the recorder on. I just get all different kinds of lettuce, whether it's from the yard or the refrigerator. Chop up some squash. Nobody in here gets salad. Nobody in the kitchen gets salad. All the bearded dragons get salad. And you can put just a little bit. And they can have salad every day. I just give, every day I give them salad and water. I just give them a couple pieces of lettuce up here, like this. I give this guy a piece of lettuce right there. Here you go, buddy. Then I give Clementine some salad. There you go. And I give Bagel some salad. Here you go, Punk. See how nobody actually ate the wood? They don't get salad. They don't like salad. They won't eat salad. So now into the tortoises. The cherry head, I just make sure that she absolutely gets at least 1 or 2 pieces of squash in her dry food and some lettuce. You can see her over there, over in the corner. She's good. These guys, just have to pick up his thing and hold it. Let's see. So in their dry food, in your dry dish, I put some lettuce. I put the squash. They can get in and out of this bowl, no problem. Hi, Punkies. They would much rather be outside, but see, they're going for the food. But if it's not going to be, if it's just going to be raining, then see, they'll get it. They'll find it. All right. Or the Horsfeldis, the Russian tortoises, Capone. Capone, Eris, and Waldo. All this is lettuce. You just pick a leaf from anyone that you want. They like it all. Here's the kale. Right here, there's the extra part of the, see how it opens up? And then dump all it out. Just like that. And they have that whole stock of chard that they can chew on anytime they want. Oh, you know what? I forgot the worms. When I'm doing the worms, I gotta go get some worms and calcium. And up here with the chameleon, up like this, up like this. Pick this up just a tad and this whole thing opens. There's 2 buckets. Okay, he's still got some worms. I would just put some, anytime you have worms, I would put some fresh worms or crickets or whatever, but then see, he'll come down and get it. And the very last one are the flies. So if you come up here in this, you have to bring it down. There's 3 containers. We'll just use this container. If you look carefully, you can see there's some flies walking around. I'll show you how we feed the flies. So I just take this container right out to the guys. See if we can put it down here. See, here's the container. Yeah, I had to move the table a little bit. Here's the container. I go tap, 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 tap. All those flies just fell down. That buys me 3 or 4 seconds. See this latch. This latch clicks down and this opens and I close it again. Now look, because these frogs could be very easily on the glass, so I usually open it and close it like that, just to make sure. So now that I know the glass is free, tap, tap, tap. They all fell down. Open this up. Now I'm just tapping. See how there's flies that are just falling down? I don't know if you can see them, but trust me, there's flies. Then I tap it. And then put it back on and close it up. Just like that. And they'll come out from their hiding. But right here, you just want to make sure this is closed and they can't get out. Perfect. They only need those flies on Saturday as well. So I'm putting this back up here. And don't worry, the flies are flightless. They do not have wings. Sure. Now you know the watering routine. I did a video on that for you. But I just pump it up and squirt it in. If you don't want to open the enclosures, you see most of these enclosures have some kind of little plastic on top or saran wrap. Just move that and go like this. You don't even have to open the enclosure. See that? Now, there's nothing in here but plants. There's nothing in here but plants. So you push this down, open it up. There's nothing in here. And I just spray, spray, spray. Especially in the back. Just make sure, because if moss dries up, it never recoups. It's done. So that's that one. There's clown frogs in here. I just make sure there's nothing on the glass. Push this down. It opens right up. La 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 la. And here, this is a very funny thing. It opens so easily. Make sure there's nobody on the glass. Open it up. There we go. As long as there's nobody on the glass, nobody's good. But these guys are jumpers. They're not real crawlers. So you would see one if they were there. And I just give it a good watering. That's where I put his food dish. You should see it. The food dish there, you won't have to feed them. Chinese water dragon, he jumps in the water when he needs to be wet. So you don't have to wet him. I open this and I just water the plants. La 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 la. Hi buddy, look, he closes his eyes, he likes it. But anyway, la la la. Do the same thing, close this. Click it up, it's closed. And I put the water thing back. Kind of simple. It's raining, so you don't have to worry about the chameleon outside. We'll have more than enough water than he can stand. But I did put a bucket on top of him, so he's got shelter. You don't have to do this. I want to make sure my plants don't die. Okay. So I think that's everybody. I think that's everybody. Water, salad every day, worms on Saturday. That's it. Water and salad every day, worms on Saturday. Easy peasy lemon squeezy. I hope, but I really, really appreciate it. They cuties. I really, really appreciate it. This allows me to go with John for 4 days, so thank you. Thank you so much. Okay, so that was really just a quick little instructional video on how to show my daughter to feed the reptiles the worms while I'm away. It was super quick. But if you stayed for it, I thank you so much. It's not really how I take care of the reptiles, but it'll do while I go away for a few days with LeCou. My honey, here we go.